I'm pleased to say we're joined by one of the newest title winners on the Challenge Tour, Noa-Lynn van Leuven. Thanks for joining us again, Noah. How are you doing?
I am doing very well. Just finished work and now in the podcast finally.
Great to get you on, and only one place to start, and that is with Hildesheim last Friday afternoon, going all the way on your Challenge Tour debut, winning the title. What have the last few days been like for you since what was one of the biggest wins of your darts career so far?
Well, it's been insane. The amount of comments that I've been getting, positive, but also a little less positive. But no, it's been insane. Who would have thought that I would win a Challenge Tour on my debut?
And you joked on Twitter, I saw that you went to Germany to play 5 games. Obviously, these weekends they've got 5 events, so you are guaranteed that as a minimum, and you did that in the first event, winning 8 games to take the title. What was that feeling like when you won the final to win the title on debut?
Oh, I think that's something I cannot describe. It's more than I could have think of. As I said, I went there for 5 games, and playing the 5 games in the first tournament, that's already crazy. Making it that far in a field like that, it's crazy.
Yeah, you mentioned the field of players there. You beat quite a lot of the big names, the likes of Daryl Pilgrim, John Henderson, Cam Crabtree, Stefan Belmont and Titus Canick in the final, 100 average in the final as well. As you're ticking off these wins, when do you start to think you could go and win the whole title?
Oh, I've never thought about that. I just went on game by game. As I said, I went there for 5 games, and every other game that I could win was a nice one.
And you ended up averaging 89 for the weekend across those 5 events. That puts you in the top 10 of the averages for the Challenge Tour. Take away the title, how pleased are you with just that level of performance over the whole weekend?
Yeah, it's so much more than I would expect from myself. I never thought I would average 89 over a whole weekend and play the games that I played.
Well, we'll come back to this year a bit later, but let's rewind back to when we last had you on the show. I was saying before we started, you were chatting with our producer Hannah in Blackpool just before you made that debut in the Women's World Matchplay. The result didn't go your way, but what was that moment like walking out in the Winter Gardens and playing on that stage?
Oh, it's iconic. Being able to go out on a stage like the one in the Winter Gardens, that's insane. Especially with my route to the Winter Gardens, making it in the last event of the Women's Series before cutoff. That's been crazy as well. And then the moment when you can go out on stage to play your game, it's insane. It was my first experience on a big stage. I didn't know what to expect, and now I do.
And it was you against Bo Greaves in that first game. You and Bo, you've played plenty of times over the last year or so. You've beaten her before as well. I think you've lost to her with a 93 average one time as well. How much does her level at the top inspire not just you but the rest of the ladies to push themselves to get better and catch her?
Oh, everyone just wants to beat her, and if you can do it with a 70 average or a 95, that's great, but you just want to beat Bo. I think me and Bo are playing great games each time. The last time when I played her was on the Dutch Open. I think I missed like 3 hands on a double, and that was the only chances that I got. Yeah, the level she plays is amazing, and I hope I can keep beating her maybe once.
Definitely. Well, there was a lot of attention on you for the Women's World Matchplay, being the first trans woman to play in a PDC tournament on TV. That was your first time on one of those big stages. After that, did you have anyone reach out to you and say watching you had inspired them, shared their own story with you as well?
Yeah, I've had quite a few people that reached out to me, and they told me that I was inspiring them to be able to play the thing they love, and that was darts. And I still keep getting those messages. After this weekend, I think I've gained maybe 200 new followers on Instagram, and also some other trans people that just want to play darts.
That's good to hear. And looking at the rest of 2023, you did the double in Malta, winning 2 titles. You had a pair of semi-finals in Ireland, a semi-final in the WDF World Cup, more deep runs on the Women's Series as well. How did you reflect on your 2023 as we turned the page over to this year?
I think 2023 has been a learning curve for me. I have improved my game a lot over the year, but I think I'm still improving my game, and that's also why I went to the Challenge Tour, because I want to bring my game to a better level and I want to become a better player. So this year for me, 2024, was going to be about gaining experience, playing better players, and make sure I can hit like 85 averages every other game. And doing that on my first weekend on the Challenge Tour, that's already insane.
Yeah, it's certainly been a debut to remember. And you kind of answered our next question we were going to bring up, that starting off 2024, it was your first time going to Q School, and you played the first couple of days of that first stage. Was that always the plan, to play some of it so that you were eligible for the Challenge Tour?
I went there to play, just to be able to play the Challenge Tour. But I've said to myself, if I reach final stage in the first 2 days that I play Q School, then I would go to final stage. But on the Wednesday, I had a few appointments and I had work in the evening, so I couldn't play that day. I think if I had played that day, I would have reached the final stage, because I only needed 1 good point. But it was just about being able to play the Challenge Tour and improve myself on that.
You mentioned work there. I was reading your interview that you did with The Guardian from last year, and you said that you work as a chef, then you practice for an hour a day. Is that still your normal routine, and how tough is it juggling both the work and darts together?
Some days it is, some days it isn't. Like now, I came home on Sunday. I have 4 days of work in between. I try to play like for half an hour a day. And I think that's the maximum I can get in practice-wise right now. But as I said, it's only 4 days in between. I go back to Wigan on Friday, and I'll have some practice there. And
you said as well, darts is what's brought you back to life, and the time before you transitioned was a difficult time for you. Now that you've got your story out there, do you feel like some people's attitudes are changing?
I think it is, yeah. You of course, I'm getting a lot of attention on social media, both bad and positive, but I think the group of positivities are getting bigger. It's a lot more people that are sticking up for me instead of only the negative comments.
Good to hear. And you touched on it about social media, the amount of messages that you were getting after the Challenge Tour win, a lot more positive comments. We obviously see that social media, it can be quite toxic at times as well. Do you try and avoid all of that noise on social media, just focus on those positive messages?
Oh yeah, I do. I always tell myself, don't look on social media, don't look at those messages. But sometimes you just come by the things and then you think, okay, I'll just open it and see, even though I shouldn't, because it's really terrible.
Well, let's look ahead then, and you're already confirmed for the Lakeside in December. It's going to be a debut in the WDF Women's World Championship. That's on the cards, and you said to us before it was your mum and dad that got you into darts. How proud are the family of your achievements over these last few years?
Oh, they're very proud. Every time when I go to a tournament with my mother, she watches every game, either on her phone or behind me. Sometimes she isn't allowed to stand directly behind me, because sometimes she makes the weird faces that put me off in my game. But no, she is very proud. And also on this weekend, she was crying with like my last 3 games on the Friday on the first tournament. Each time when I won, I saw tears in her eyes. She was so proud.
That's lovely to hear. And before you get to the Lakeside, it is going to be the Women's Series this weekend. The way you played just last weekend, how are you feeling about possibly adding your name to that Women's Series list of winners this weekend?
Oh, that would be great. Of course, I want to bring my A game to Wigan. My goal this year is to reach the match play again and not going in on 8th place, please, because I don't want to play Bo again in the first game. But if I could win one of the Women's Series this weekend, that would be great.
And just lastly, before we let you go, you're into that top 10 of the Challenge Tour Order Merit as well, so an outside chance of a possible call up for the Pro Tour. How cool would that be to get an invite to those Players' Championships and take on the world's best at some point this year?
That would be insane. Of course, I'm hoping to get called up for the Pro Tour. Being able to play any of those players would be crazy. And I think maybe if I get a good draw, I can beat one or two players.
Well, fingers crossed you'll get the opportunity to do that. Noa, congratulations again on the title at the weekend. Thanks very much for giving us some of your time, and wish you all the best for what else is to come in 2024 as well.
All right, thank you very much.